Hi warriors, and welcome back to another video. I've got a lot of questions about my relapse story, relapse prevention in general, so I thought I'd touch on that today. I'll be talking about some of the triggers that might cause relapse, some of the warning cues of relapse, how to deal with them, how to get on top of it, how to get back on track. So if this sounds interesting to you, be sure to give it a thumbs up, be sure to subscribe and keep watching. So first, my personal relapse story. My eating disorder started in about 2009, 2010, and as I said previously, I was stuck in this quasi-recovery for a really long time, quite an embarrassing amount of time really, and I was fine with that. I didn't want to gain any more weight, I was somewhat stable, and life was okay. I still thought about food a lot, I still couldn't really prioritize things that were actually important in my life, but I didn't really care at that point. However, then in 2015 I had my IB exams, and it was stressful. All these exams, all this pressure, and meanwhile the teachers were all telling me that I was going to get the maximum score, I should apply to Oxford, I should apply to Cambridge, and I was thinking, I can't do it. I want to get these scores, but there's just so much pressure, I can't deal with this. But I allowed myself to get overwhelmed and to put the same pressure on myself, so it wasn't just them that were putting this pressure on me. I accepted the standards that they had put up for me and decided that I was going to get these scores, and it was ridiculous. So during this time I was just really stressed, and I started to get more stressed about food as well. And I didn't lose a tremendous amount of weight, I think maybe a kilo or so, but I was not looking good. Definitely not. And mentally I was in a really bad place, and yeah, it just wasn't pretty, and I realized I was experiencing a relapse. And at that point I was eating a fair amount, just not what my body needed. And I couldn't bring myself to eat anymore because I thought, well, I'm already eating a decent amount and I'll have to eat so much more than everyone else, and I just can't do it. So that's when I decided to reach for help and voluntarily go into hospital, have an inpatient plan, and when I came out of that, honestly, I was in a much better position. And I do have a video all about hospitalization, whether you should potentially go into hospital, or why hospitalization might actually be detrimental for you, up on Patreon. So definitely check that out, I will link up there. Anyway, that was my personal relapse story. What tips can I give you from this horrible experience? Well, whether you are scared of relapse because you're going to university or have any other big changes happening, or whether you're still in that quasi-recovery state and you're not quite confident that you can stick with recovery, these tips will apply to all of you. So the first thing that I think is really important is to identify your triggers. That way you can make an action plan and make sure that these triggers don't bring you down. So first, know your triggers. So for example, a lot of change, or having a bad body image day, or exams, for example. And then also know your warning signs. So maybe checking your weight quite a lot, body checking, over exercising, or feeling guilty when you don't exercise. It's really important to be aware of these signs and to be aware of these triggers in order to deal with them, in order to know when you are at risk for actually relapsing. Next, if you suspect that you might be relapsing, or that the eating disorder is taking a stronger hold than you'd like it to, take a little step back. Taking this little step back can help you prevent falling back altogether and relapsing completely. So this might mean going back to an old routine, or even after you've stopped using a meal plan, going back to this meal plan just to make sure you stabilize or maintain the state that you're in now, to allow yourself to then later make some more steps, but to prevent at this moment from taking some steps back. I also have a whole video on meal plans, and I think that is quite an important video because it's a bit controversial, but personally I don't think meal plans are a bad thing. They can definitely help you during your early stages of recovery, or as I just said, during stages of relapse. They are not permanent. They are just there as a temporary crutch to help you. Likewise, other help is available. Asking for help from a friend, a family member, or professional is not a sign of weakness. For me, personally, if I hadn't gone into hospital in Belgium, I wouldn't have beaten my eating disorder. I would still be stuck in the state of quasi-recovery, or maybe have relapsed completely and been stuck with an eating disorder now. So ask for help. And at this point in time, pause this video and write down all of your contacts where you can go to if you feel like you're experiencing a relapse. So maybe a professional or friends or family, write it down. That way you have a relapse prevention plan in case anything happens in the future, or in case you're just feeling down and just need a chat, because whether or not this is because of a relapse or because you're just feeling bad or need a chat, having the support network is so important. It's also really important to stay involved in your regular activities and not to isolate yourself. Obviously, at this time, isolation is sort of a must for everyone, but maybe call friends or do online pub quizzes or stay involved in some other way, just so you're not stuck with your thoughts all the time, so that you're not just focusing on food all of the time, so that you still have other priorities in your life and are much better able to break free of the eating disorder. In the meantime, keep your goals in mind. If you don't have any goals, there's nothing to fight for. So if you're struggling, tell yourself that it's difficult, yes, but you will get through this, because that way you can see your family happy. You can gain food freedom. You'll be able to achieve certain things in your life that you might not be able to achieve with an eating disorder. So write down your goals. Pen and paper, definitely. And remind yourself of these goals when things get tough. Next, increase positive and decrease negative influence. So surround yourself with normal eaters, so that you have an example of what it can be like and to know what to do in order to gain this normal relationship with food. Also, stop following certain social media accounts or YouTube accounts that you find triggering, so certain fitness pages that make you feel guilty for not exercising, or certain diet pages that are telling you you need to restrict. Honestly, again, pause this video, go do that now. This is so important. And because so many people spend so much time on social media, this can have a massive impact on your mental health. Another way to think more positively is to write down gratefulness and to write down your accomplishments and your positive qualities. Then look over these every single day and whenever you're feeling like you're struggling. It can be a great boost to your mood, and that's definitely much needed in order to gather the confidence and the motivation to continue during a difficult time like this. Another important thing here is to have me time. So make sure to have regular meals, drink sufficiently, sleep sufficiently, maybe watch films if you enjoy this, or play an instrument if you enjoy this. Focus on things that you enjoy. Even though you're struggling, this does not mean you're failing. This does not mean that you need to beat yourself up. You still need to be kind to yourself, and that's the most important thing. Focus on why you want to recover, but don't beat yourself up for making a step in the wrong direction. Relapse is very common, and it doesn't make you a bad person. However, I do think these tips can help you lots on the way to full recovery. If you have any of your own tips that I didn't touch on, definitely share them below, because I think they can be really, really helpful for everyone watching. I hope you liked this video, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Take really good care of yourself,